I really like this room I'm renting in Dubai, but it's costing me too much money, so it's time to go back to the States and make some more car videos. So let's go. When it comes to electric cars, I've driven the American brands for the most part and was not very impressed. Yeah, that includes Tesla. Not a bad car, but has the build quality of an old golf cart. Not for me. Maybe for you. I've driven a lot of Japanese EVs, and it's obvious they're more interested in building hybrids than an EV. Wasn't impressed with those either. Whatever European EV I've driven, found a few good ones, but the price tag was so insane, nobody can afford them. Except for one. The one exception is this nice Volvo EX30 EV I drove with the bright yellow paint. Very nice looking car, priced under $50,000, extremely quick. I like this one. Of course, Volvo's Chinese now, but still considered a European brand. They do have a factory in Belgium. But the country I think is making the best EVs right now is from Korea. This is the Genesis GV60 I drove last year. Very, very impressed. Very quick. Good value for the money. Same with this Kia EV6. It went 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. That was a lot of fun to drive. And there are a list of other Korean EVs I've driven. I won't go over the whole list here because the video will be too long, but I've never driven an Ioniq like seen here on their website. And I've been wanting to get one for some time. So they have one in stock. I put in my order, and let's see what the price is for it. The price starts at $41,000 for the single motor. We'll go over all the choices later. This is the all-wheel drive version with 20-inch wheels. And just about everything is standard, very few options. I'll just scroll down real quick. You can freeze it if there's something interests you. And here's what it's going to cost you. Charging $1,000 for the metallic paint. Okay, it's a nice gimmick you can make some money off of if you're a factory, but $210 floor mats. Come on, 60 grand vehicle, they're charging for floor mats. Next we'll be charging for the air in the tires. Don't give them any ideas. Come on, guys, why do you do this? Oh, forgot shipping. And it is made in Georgia, USA. So here it is. It looks just as good in person as it does in the photos, I think. A nice modern design on the front. Nice looking wheels. And checking to see what brand of tires they put on, because a lot of manufacturers are putting cheap junkers on to save money. These are nice Michelins. Can't complain about that. And of course, being an EV, we know there's no spare tire in here, so I already looked, so you don't have to. And here's where the charging point is located. Some people like in the front, some people like in the rear. What difference does it make, really? And it's over 100 degrees today, so let's get out of the sun and get into the shade so my camera doesn't melt along with me with it. Let's see what this lever does. Just like a regular car, raise the hood, looking for an engine under the plastic cover, but no engine under there. Not gas, anyway. This is very nice. Everything seems to be accessible. Why do some of these electric cars have to have these weird spellings? They say Ioniq, that's what I'll say, but it looks like Ioniq to me. Whatever. Alright, they start at $41,000. They get you a single motor, 168 horsepower with a claim range of 245 miles. Another single motor battery system with extended range, 225 horsepower, 318 claimed range of miles. This one here is the all-wheel drive, 320 horsepower with a claimed range of 260 to 280 miles, depending on who you want to believe. My favorite is the N version, a whopping 641 horsepower, 0 to 60 like 3 seconds flat. And those start around $68,000. Tried to get that one, couldn't do it. There's one thing I do not like about EVs in general, and that's because most of them have these big, giant info screens where you have to do all functions on them, even adjusting the mirrors. They're totally ridiculous. They have to take your eyes off the road. And after time they start rattling or they die altogether. It costs a fortune to fix. But on the Korean EVs, we don't have that nonsense. Lots of hard controls and buttons, the way it should be. Volume knob for the radio. Tuning knob for the radio. Anything you want on the screen. Your map. You press this, not the screen. Now if you do the setup, yeah, you touch the screen then, but usually you only have to do that once. But the main functions are done here with a nice climate control screen. This is the way it's supposed to be, folks. I don't care if it's gasoline or electric. No more big touch screens, please. In fact, most of the controls on here are the same you get on the Hyundai Santa Cruz SUV. Here's the shifter. Just click it forward to go forward, click it back to go in reverse. You can easily see it through the steering wheel, contrary to some other opinions. They don't like this setup. This is a great setup, by the way. Not in the way, you don't have to take your eyes off the road to click on it. A very nice system. Same control buttons you get on other Hyundais. In fact, a week before I had this, I had the Santa Fe hybrid SUV, and almost all the controls are pretty much the same as I had on that, so that's well appreciated. A very nice gauge cluster. A conventional glove box with lots of room. Another feature that's missing a lot of EVs as of late. Got a nice mirror system. Of course, this is the deluxe model. You don't get this on the cheapy model, I'm told. Got a nice camera system. The wonders of technology. Let's talk about range. When I picked up this vehicle, it had a claimed range of 280 miles, put 155 miles, mostly freeway. This should tell me I have way over 100 miles left, but when I parked it the other night, I had 95 miles of range left. Car sat for 4 days, woke up, and I'm down from the 90s to the 70s. I lost 20 miles of range sitting from Wednesday night till Monday morning. Don't know what to tell you about that. Now it says 2.7 miles per kilowatt hour. Pardon me, my throat's a little dry being out here in the desert. But with almost 1,400 miles, pretty much the same, 2.7. Car and Driver tested this extensively, got around 200 miles on their range. Looks like that's about what I'm going to be getting. And here's a spy camera that watches your eyeballs when you're driving on the freeway. If your eyeballs turn in the wrong direction, all the alarms go off. And some people put their glasses on, then the system doesn't read your eyeballs, and the alarms go off that way, I'm told. But I don't use this nonsense. I turn all the so-called safety features off, so you can stare at me all you want, but not going to bother me, because I disconnected you. And there's a drive mode button. Eco, Normal, Sport, My Drive, and Snow. No snow around here. This is a very pleasant vehicle to drive in city traffic. The driving position is excellent. Power steering feels good, strong brakes. Very smooth ride in spite of these large 20-inch wheels. The thing I like is you don't have complete silence. There's a program in the info system where you can create sounds. The faster you go, the higher the pitch. You can't hear right now because I have the air conditioning on full blast, which does a very good job of cooling off this vehicle on a 100-degree day, by the way. And I forgot to mention the panorama sunroof with a very nice filter that keeps all the rays off your head if you choose to open it, which I just did, but I'm going to close it because, like I said, it's kind of hot out there. Like I said earlier, the high-performance in version of this vehicle can reach 0 to 60 in around 3 seconds, which is plenty quick. This one here, not as quick, of course. They claim 0 to 60 in just over 5 seconds. which I can pretty much verify. Plus, there's lots of bottom end torque, so you're never logging or bogging. Overall, this is a very, very pleasant vehicle to drive. Of course, until the juice runs out, then you have a 5,000 pound paperweight until you find a charger to juice it up again. I like the turn signal setup with the cameras on the outside. You can see what's on your side without even having to look. Same with the right side. A feature you get on some Korean cars, not too many other brands. Oh yeah, I wonder what this driver looks like in person. Oh. So I'm at the Hyundai dealer trying to recharge the car, and you can't do it unless you pay the company with a special app that I don't have. They don't take credit cards. I might end up getting stuck here. This doesn't look good. Alright, after 4 hours, I finally found a charger in this town that takes credit cards without an app. And it took about 2 credit cards to get the thing to work and a couple of long-distance phone calls to the company. But now, 4 hours later, we are charging on our way. Our electric car is fun. One thing about this vehicle, it has all kinds of adapters, so you can use any type of charger you want. There's also an adapter to use Tesla. And what are the others? Well, I forget. And this is the adapter right here for the general machines. The Tesla charger adapter is somewhere in the back. And I was told if you use the Tesla chargers, it takes about twice as long because of compatibility stuff, but I'm not using a Tesla charger, so I can't comment on that. So I've got about 45 minutes to kill, so we'll come back to the video a little bit later. So in 30 minutes, I went from 50 miles to 250 miles. And it cost me almost $36 to add those 200 miles. For that same $36 at the moment, I can buy 11 gallons of gas, Toyota Corolla, get around 400 miles. So when all these EV evangelists tell you how cheap it is to charge their car, it might be inexpensive at home, although it's really not that much. But a public charger, no it ain't. The 6,000 pound Land Rover I had last month cost about the same to fill up as what we're doing here. So for all you out there who dream of the day we'll have 10 million chargers all over the country, somebody's got to pay for it. You think it's going to be cheaper? Keep dreaming. That's not to degrade this Hyundai, because actually this is a very nice car for an electric car. The Hyundais, the Kias, and the Genesis Korean ones, I never had one I didn't like. So if you're thinking of buying an electric car, that's the best advice I can pass on to you. So the range now says 262, unless I turn on the air conditioning. 214 with the air conditioning. So you want to go further or just sweat? So what's my take on this Korean electric car after a week of driving? Look, it's like this. I'm not really a fan of electric cars. The only advantage to them, as far as I'm concerned, is the ability to make cheap horsepower. If you want a car that's really going to go quick, it's not easier just to stick in a big battery instead of a complicated engine with turbochargers and superchargers and the like. Aside from that, I don't see any point in owning an electric car from my standpoint. But obviously you don't agree, you wouldn't be watching this video about this car. And I can tell you, if you're in the market for an electric car, the Korean models from Hyundai or their sister company Kia and Genesis, I've never driven one I didn't like. And I do like this vehicle. It's quick, it's comfortable, well built. If you're looking for an EV, I say give these brands a look before you go to the other ones from the European Union or Japan or the United States. It's pretty hard to go wrong with this one.